You're listening to Sister Stargazers, celestial and terrestrial observations and advice from two real-life sisters.
Welcome, fellow stargazers. Your sisters are in the house. Hi, Jude.
Hey there. Good morning.
Hey, good morning. I know. Well, this is an exciting week. We're looking at episode 67. There's lots of holiday-inspired events. There's a winter solstice. There's a new moon. Hanukkah starts. Christmas Eve. We're looking from Sunday, December 18th through Saturday, December 24th. Take it away. Where do you want to start?
Yeah, well, we're coming off of the last quarter moon on the 16th of December. That's also, a time of turning. And then we come into basically the Hanukkah Christmas week. Sunday, the 18th is the evening of Hanukkah. So we're all celebrating at this time of year. There's the solstice, there's Hanukkah, there's Christmas, there's Kwanzaa.
Yes.
And then there's the new year. So this is such a big time for celebration. I mean, I'm not saying anything that you don't already know, but the stars also support that. And and so many of our holidays are also based on the astrological turnings, right?
Yes.
So things are pretty quiet as we come off of this last quarter moon, although this will set us up for this coming week of solstice and sign changes.
Right.
What we have is this sun, which is it's kind of moving through the last few degrees from the 26th degree of Sagittarius through the 29th degree of Sagittarius earlier in the week. And it's starting to form a square with Jupiter, which is now at the anorectic degree of Pisces. So Jupiter is very emotionally sensitive. Like your sense of expansion, your sense of optimism is so full and buoyant. And it's at that very last degree of Pisces. So it's going to be within orb as that Sagittarius sun moves through those last degrees of Sagittarius and into early Capricorn, the sun moving into Capricorn midweek on Wednesday.
Right. Yeah, with the solstice.
Signals the solstice. On the 20th, Jupiter changes signs and moves into Aries. So there is this sense of, the star, the sun, moves and changes signs, crosses a boundary in the zodiac. And so does Jupiter. Jupiter is our sense of governance, our sense of magnanimity, our sense of generosity, optimism, hope, faith. It's all kind of moving into Aries, right? Coming out of Pisces, where it's been very happy. That's its home, one of its domiciles, which along with Neptune, it loves being in Pisces. It expands and opens the heart, right?
Yeah.
So as we move into Aries with Jupiter there, right at the Aries point, the Aries point being 0 degrees Aries, this first point of the zodiac, making a square back to another cardinal point, 0 degrees of Capricorn.
Yep.
You have this square, which is in a way signaling it's a shift in the season, which is opening us to new possibilities, right?
Yeah.
With this Jupiter in a fire sign and the sun in the earth sign, they're also at square. So there's also this sense of tension. So wanting to move on with things, but also knowing that there's this sense of you must renew and build in a way that's sustainable. That's Capricorn. Take it slowly, block by block, brick by brick, build whatever it is you're building, right? And move it along in a way that's sustainable. Whereas Jupiter in Aries is just giving us the fire, the desire and the fire to move things along in a much faster way. There's also this sense that Jupiter in Aries is a hot head. Aries rules the head. So there's a lot of heat in terms of ideas, in terms of initiation, in terms of momentum that you want to carry forward. But then there's this heaviness of the sun being in Capricorn and wanting to be not so much precise, but organized and efficient and do things in a manner that is in accord with all, and it makes sense and it's logical, and it's building, right?
Is Capricorn feet or ankles or something? Must be lower in the body?
Yeah, Capricorn is knees and ankles.
Knees. Okay. So like stability and balance.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. And those are the knees and the ankles are the joints that hold the most weight.
Yes.
In terms of gravity pulling us down, right? I mean, you could
Exactly,
also say
yeah.
the feet, but actually I think Aquarius rules the ankles. It might be the knees. Yeah. But it is that sense of weight, right?
Yes.
And Saturn is one of the planets that governs Capricorn. So Saturn,
Right.
the bones, right? The structure. So yes, there is this sense that things need to be structured properly, organized properly as we move forward. So there's a sense of great optimism, but it's also accompanied by a sense of like, how do we do this? How do we construct this? For anyone personally, there's also this sense of how do we support ourselves? How do we nurture ourselves? Because there's also, as Jupiter moves into Aries, he's also positioned, he's making an opposition to Ceres, the asteroid goddess of harvest.
Agriculture.
Yes. And she's also the goddess of grief.
Yes.
Because of the mourning process that she went through in the loss of her daughter, Persephone, there's also this sense of loss and grief. So there might be a sense of reckoning around this time.
Well, sure.
Going into this solstice season where we're taking stock of the things that we've lost.
Yeah.
You know, how do we grieve properly? How do we move forward in a way that this is supported or that we support ourselves? So Ceres is in Virgo. And Virgo is an earth sign, right?
Yeah.
So we have Ceres is at 29 degrees Virgo. The sun is just at the solstice point of 0 degrees Capricorn, and then you've got Jupiter there right at 0 degrees Aries. So there's this T-square of taking stock, harvesting, in terms of our maybe not so much emotional harvesting, but really just a processing of the past, I think.
Oh, yeah. 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 Well, and it's this end of year time too, I think brings up a lot of things for people just by the nature of it's an ending, the ending of the year, and it's quiet and the days are still darker and there's a lot of introspection. So maybe be gentle with ourselves this week as those things come up, because a new year is coming.
Yeah, and a new moon.
Yes. Let's get to the new moon.
So basically the early part of the week is pretty quiet, although it's going to have kind of a ding-dong ring bell effect of Jupiter changing signs and then the sun changing signs into Capricorn. So happy birthday, all you Capricorn folks.
Yeah.
And then the solstice, we get to Friday the 23rd, and we have a new moon at 1 degree Capricorn.
Yes.
So this is also very significant because the next 5 lunations, the new moon times, are going to be at 1 degree of their sign.
Interesting. Yeah, that's really fun.
So this is, again, I would look at this period between the solstice and the vernal equinox in March as a time of transition.
Yes.
Because we're going to be initiating over the next 5 months something new.
Yeah, I'd add transformation, like transition and transformation.
Yes,
for sure.
exactly. Also kind of feeding into Pluto's ingress into Aquarius, right? That happens in March of 2023, as well as Saturn moving into Pisces. So there's a lot of, in this time period between the end of this year and the beginning of the new season in March, there are going to be many transitions. So this new moon is part of that freshness that is being called up, basically. So the new moon is at 1 degree of Capricorn. So the sun just arrives in Capricorn. We just have the solstice on Wednesday, and then we have this new moon on Friday. Yeah. And then we slide into Christmas Eve.
Holy cow. Yeah.
At this new moon, the moon is very active. So we have the moon trines Uranus. So there's an openness to new ideas, spontaneity.
Yep.
So the moon in Capricorn, Uranus in Taurus, and Taurus has been getting a fair amount of airplay because Uranus is there, the North Node has been there, and the eclipses have been there. Right. There's been a lot of cogitating, sensing around what do we value, where do we where do we want to steer ourselves?
Yeah.
What direction are we going in with that North Node in Taurus? Based on our feelings, our values, what we cherish, what we want to bring into our lives, what we want to support rather than what we don't want to support, right?
Yeah.
The things that we want to do are where we want to put our energy. The things that support us are what we want to support. So there's this sense of that, this earthy kind of feelings, being open to new ideas, spontaneity, that's happening at this time of Christmas Eve. The moon is conjunct Venus. There's also this love vibe is available to us.
Yeah.
Venus is active. She's like, whoa.
Yeah, party.
Yeah, Venus is also trine Uranus.
Okay.
There's this sense of openness to love, openness to beauty, openness to new ideas, new people, meeting new people, creating new projects around creativity, around art, around, art with a capital A. So it can be
fantastic.
Anything from crafts to like a symphony, it's like, it doesn't have to be like fine art. It can be something that you just enjoy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So moon conjunct Venus, Venus trine Uranus, moon trine Uranus, moon conjunct Mercury.
So which means Mercury is also trine Uranus.
Yes.
Okay.
Moon sextile Neptune. So again, the imagination.
Yes.
The sense of higher order.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then Mercury sextile Neptune. So, so bringing in this higher order, this kind of sense of the numinous, like the angels or the guiding force, the larger, more maybe interdimensional aspects of things. So there's going to be this sense that we're being called on to call up the higher vibrations, the higher emotions, right? So kind of get out of the jealousy, anger, revenge aspects.
Move it up.
And just kind of move it into love, peace, appreciation, joy.
Hope, gratitude.
All of that.
Those.
That is a shift in mentality.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That comes down to the individual shift in mentality. And when that can happen, and it's not, it's not an easy thing, if you're like upset about stuff and who isn't, in terms of like what things are going on right now. But if you can kind of pull yourself up into the joy and appreciation of like the things that you have that you are grateful for,
It's a shifting of a habit, and it's a new habit of just maybe you could start with a sticky note on your bathroom mirror that's just like, today I'm going to smile, or I'm grateful for my, whatever you want to put into there. But you don't have to suddenly shift your perspective all in one. It can be little fine-tuning adjustments that basically get you to a higher vibration.
Yeah, and it's not like insincere, like, oh, I'm just going to be grateful all the time. But it can be like, I'm grateful for my dog, like my dog is like my best friend. It's always giving me love, or my cat, or the plants in my home, like just getting up and being in a bed with sheets, like having a towel in the bathroom. I mean, these are like small things, but they're really big things when you think about a towel. Like that towel was created from plant fibers mostly, maybe not, maybe polyester, but then even that came out of the ground.
Well, and somebody worked the machinery to get it made, and then it made its way to a truck and it got to a store. Like, it's kind of miraculous, all the things that happen for us to continue each day having what we need just to get up and go to work, or get up and go do what we need to do. So I think we can be grateful on a lot of levels.
Yeah. That will be our friend. That will really help.
Yeah.
That will really bring in the spirit of this time. And it will also increase our capacity to love, and also make connections beyond ourselves.
That's it. Yeah.
These trines from Venus and Mercury to Uranus will be supported even more with those inner feelings, because they'll create more space to bring in the serendipity, the spontaneity, the joy, the laughter, all of that stuff. So, we have this particular setup at this time, which is really fits You know, if we cultivate those feelings of joy and gratitude, like the world will really open to more of that.
Okay.
Yeah, this is, and I wanted to also, when we talked about the Jupiter.
Oh, yeah, the cards this week.
From the sun to Jupiter. Yeah, those cards you mentioned.
The two cards that came out as a set, they just flopped right out of the deck were the Knight of Pentacles and the Knight of Swords. The Knight of Pentacles, sun in Capricorn, like steady. The horse is on all fours. The knight is holding out this pentacle, sort of planning, stable, looking ahead. And then you have the Knight of Swords, which we've talked about being Jupiter entering Aries, you know, air feeding fire, and the horse is in full gallop, and the knight's waving his sword charge full ahead. And to just reflect on those two and keep balance and not lean too heavily into either direction. But I guess if you're going to lean in one direction, the Capricorn sun is a good place to come back and reground yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. At least for a while. I mean, you could go back and forth between the two, but try to stay a little more grounded.
It can be a hectic time with the holidays and lots of expectations and gatherings and things like that. And to remind yourself, it's okay to slow down. It's okay to take a few moments for yourself. Well, thank you. Yeah. Excellent.
Yeah, thank you. This is a really momentous time, and have a wonderful holiday season, everyone. And we'll be back next week with more.
Thanks, Jude. And you can always reach us at connect@SisterStargazers.com. We love getting your emails, your feedback. And don't forget, Monday nights, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, if you tune in to WMPG.org, you can hear our live astrology call-in show. And you can even call in and have a live chat with the Sister Stargazers. So
anywhere in the world.
Anywhere in the world. Happy winter solstice, everyone.
Take care, everybody. Bye for now.
Thanks for listening to Sister Stargazers. Let us know what worked for you this week. Find us on Facebook and post a comment at Sister Stargazers.